Hello. Okay, let's see what we have here. First, 841 is a lure. 55 and 86 at '05 and 550, I think, are spoofs. That's why I'm short. I expect somebody to pull all the orders from 0625 to '05. So those market orders were hit for the three levels. The other one was pulled by the looks of it, and then refilled, and then they pulled, and price pukes. I'm not sure. Okay, so it's not a lure. These orders appear to be executed 49 and 44. I think it was the split of 80. No, it was these two. So what I thought was a lure were actual market orders executing, and notice how there's a kind of lack of market participation on the sell side on the inside print. So it looks like these were filled, and then the other one was pulled, which is no, it was hit. It looks like it was hit a tick lower for 75. And then I close my trade because I think that this quote unquote lure is done, and then all the orders are pulled right after that's filled. That's one. The other one was huge, huge absorption. I want to say early into the session. Yeah, right here at VPOC. Big, big absorption. I went short. I don't know why. I saw this, interpreted it as an iceberg at VPOC. There's a thin spot here, and the distribution is kind of is P shaped, right? So bullish, but I didn't listen to that. I'm short here off of VPOC because the this side of the profile, despite it being bullish looking, is still thicker, and that side's the thin spot. I think if we get above that, we're going to zip up. I close my trade because there's 202 on the ask. There's absorption there at VPOC. And I think uh, if somebody's throwing 200 contracts into size and the market is not moving up, I think sellers are absorbing it before taking it lower. And that's why I went short. Right. So I see 624, they have to be absorbing and taking it lower. I get filled, and then 811 and only 13, 15 2. So I get filled, and then I get filled, and then it looks like sellers pull again the entire the entire book, and it stops at 17s. That was the other one. This one I should have timestamps for. When is this? 752. This one I think is a spoof. I'm short off of this, expecting somebody to pull 208 as it comes down. The market will slip down because the buyers, these orders are spoofed. It'll go like that. Somebody's throwing 8 here to get people to sell into it, and he's absorbing before he takes it, before prices go higher, right? I think I read this wrong. Okay, but it's not a spoof. Somebody hits it for 213, and then prices move higher in the opposite direction after the order is filled. So what I thought was going to happen didn't happen. Then 743. $7.55. Okay, there. B 120 whoops. 121 at 92.75, right? I see that. I think somebody is throwing that up to get buyers to sell into him, and then he's going. But instead, after 110 is thrown in at 92.75, price moves lower. And I've been marketing in and immediately taking losses of 2 to 3 ticks, regardless of whether the trade moves in my direction or not. I'll just mark it in because I think I'm missing the move and then sit underwater for 30 seconds or whatever. That's why the entry is right there instead of right there. And I went in off of that order, which moved the market lower. I guess it spooked them. I don't know how this works. 758 is the next one. So I assume that guy comes back. I'm still thinking these are quote unquote lure LURE trades. Mhm. So I think how the market is supposed to react is again to let whoever's spoofing here reload on load up on liquidity from the buyer side before pulling orders. Or I think I might have it wrong. Um, I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But it varies because sometimes it'll jump up, or sometimes it'll sit in the back of the queue and push the market down. That was another. Next is 804. 804. There, somebody's matching size again. The past two trades, somebody's thrown in size and prices went in the opposite direction, so I expect it to go higher off of this 87. The 87 immediately, so it's not a spoofed order, and I enter right after it, and then price moves up a couple ticks, and who cares where it goes? I round tripped it, I think. 1006. That's the end. 1006. Right there is a big size. 8225. The journal says I get here on the uptick in the spoof. So the market ticking up and down, and that order right there, I expect him to pull it. It reloads halfway and then it's filled. It reloads halfway. It looks like it went from 60 and then somebody threw 29. Okay, so half of it was half of it was pulled. So it was an 80 contract spoof, and then the market jumps up higher off of the uptick and the order being pulled, right? And I think I around there because the market stops again. The next is 109. Right there at 80 at 21. I went long off of it, I guess. I went long off of it, probably thinking we're in a thin spot, one, and this order is going to be a backstop if I want to get out. Um, Anything else? I called it a spoof. And when I saw the order being filled, I got out because my pair based around the order. And the past couple trades, when the order's been filled, it's continued in that direction, which is what it does for a few ticks. The notes. Reverse spoof. Okay, 537. It's 16.25. Okay, so it's pulled 16.25. It looks like I went short off of the pull and caught a scalp for a few ticks. My rationale is probably that the market was factoring in that order, or that people were adjusting to it, and we saw higher prices with the market being there, with the order being there. If the orders are moved, we'll probably see lower prices temporarily. Reverse, and then 10.12 is an LVN. I went long here at 17 because 16.75 down to 15.25 is an LVN. Then I got out because we stopped there. Which I already know is too early. 10.12 LVN again. We stopped at 17 and then it rallied. I got in again. We stopped at 16.75. We stopped at 17 again, which made me think it was bullish because nobody wants to do business there. And then we shot through the LVN. I scratched it. LVN 15, large order. I don't. Was it 83 at 16? Or was it 129 at 20? Who cares? Whatever. It was another LVN play. I missed it because of the limit. And then wait. Then we either hit the order, it was pulled, or not, and I FOMO fear of missing out and near high of day, and then ride it for a couple ticks and scratch it. 16 is momentum. Okay, so it was the momentum off the large order. I don't know what 15 was talking about. 17 is large order and momentum again. These two, 25 and 24.75, 90 and 80 is a backstop. Oh, it was a short through the LVM. I'm upticking, so I was wrong. I scratched it for 3 ticks. It should have been a backstop. And the momentum was probably from the downside high of day, even though the momentum was pretty slow. Large order momentum. 10-17 again. It looks like I'm gonna try to play those two orders in the LVN, even though, yeah, they got pulled. So I read it wrong the first time, and then I was late the second time, and now I'm just back holding. Slow tape, meaning the auction probably stopped, and that's why I got in. It slowed down in this area. That's why I went short. There's an LVN there, so the trade looks promising. And I scratched in the middle of the LVN, probably because I was scared. Slow tape downtrend 19. And then here things kind of unravel and I start flying by the seat of my pants. I went short here at the notch by the looks of price stopped again, slow tape. And then a seller steps in there, the fast tick down. And I got lucky. He steps in again and throws the whole LVM. This is all selling with no buyer side participation. But I called this intuition, and then 1021 has no name. That's another short off of the notch. And then it's blown out by what looks like the pulling of orders because there's less market participation, and they facilitate an auction over the stock over the entry. Um, but seller shows up again and traverses the entire value area. I scratch a couple ticks before my exit. Ten 24. HVN Val. So 1750, the 89. I wasn't even thinking about the large order here as a backstop. I just thought free trade, probably. There's a the node increases. The buyer shows up again. It looks like all of this was spoofed. I don't even think I caught a trade here. It was just interesting to mention. They were real orders. Well, at least half of them was. He pulled half there. There were sellers here, and then the market moves off of the Val value area low to highs. Val again. This is a short. Market stopped again at Val. We're in the LVN now, down to 15s. That was a good one. Val again, and then a flip, 1026. So maybe I missed one. Oh, I went long. Then price stopped. Okay. And then I flipped it. Whatever. I flipped. I'm wasting time here. Who cares? Iceberg at 29. Hit 20s. 160, 204, 230. Reloads 17, 183, 190, 265. And then VPOC shifts for the day. I got long off of that. Last time I got in front of an iceberg that shifted to VPOC, I got ran over. So I went long instead of short this time. And then we see a blip up to 21, 25. And then after I just scratched because it wasn't the reaction I wanted. Last time it exploded, and this time it was little, and then it came back down to my entry. So obviously the market didn't care. 1030. This is a long at Val that I scratched because we're in the thin spots. It looks like it's going lower. They bid it back up to the high. I went short again for some reason, thinking I went short again. Oh, okay. I went short again because we were here. I thought we were going down to the lower distribution. I misread the noise. And the price moved against me. So the original trade was fine. I just couldn't sit on my hands and live. 1030. Val. So I played that area twice. And then it revisits, and I catch the short. Price stops. and I move my stop, but it's too late. And I go short again. That was the short. So I missed another trade in between my scrubbing. I'm not going back. This, I think I stepped away. 1039. Market is slowing down. This looks like a high of day trade. Yeah. A short at 27.50 down to whatever. Off of slow tape, apparently. This is a short off of intuition, but it's at the node. So it just looks like an acceptance play. And then there's backticking on the low side. Then you see uptaking, right? But sellers bring it back down before it just explodes lower. So the real exit was right at the stop, and that's just too noisy. And then I scratched it. Oh, 47 breakout. It's a breakout long that it looks like I got baited into. Already offside, scratched it. Short at the high now, which is a much better trade. Looking for 23s, but then sellers punch in at 24s, which is the larger node. Buyers, I mean. I probably scratched this. I'm taking the lack of trade here as a sign of bearishness. Back to 24s where they initially defended. Punch back from buyers. Price stopped there again after punching lower. And buyers have already defended this area. Now they don't want to defend it anymore. Guess who's wrong? Me. Short at high of day. Good reaction. Closed at 28 because it was a higher volume node. That was good. Short again. Probably on momentum from coming from the high of day down to 28s, which is the node. Looking scratched around this area probably because of a reaction. 11.29. Value area low, return pullback. So long off of there. Tape stopped, upticking from buyers, bullish, with the Val, right? Scratched at 18s, probably because I was bored. 29, 11.40 spoof. Right there. Sell side, lure. That's the direction I want. I don't want to see it plow through my stop after I throw a trade on when there's a big order there because that happens. It's happened like 3 times today. So this is more likely to be pulled. And I scratched because I thought the order was real. And then we see the kind of puke lower shortly after. Continuation boredom. So I'm waiting here, getting into lunch, and I'm tired of losing fake money. I remember this trade. I think I scratched immediately. Yeah. One short, next to high of day, some slow ticking, and then I caught myself, what am I doing here? Just giving money away. 11.55 is another spoof. The 202 and the 129, I think. Yeah. I didn't put a trade on it, it looks like. No, I didn't. It was just, oh, I did. I went long, and how I said that order, how I said that last order that was pulled, price puked shortly after. It was a buy order. I expected the same to happen here at 213, but the opposite happens, meaning the Q just exploded for whatever reason, and it put me underwater, which is why I scratched. And then I don't know why I went long here. Okay, tape slowed down after the initial influx from 215s at 40. I got long. Price stopped again at my entry, which is good. Just writing notes now. Price stopped again at the entry. Little back ticking from sellers. Stopped again. So if the order gets pulled and nobody wants to do business there, it's probably good for me. the queue's eaten up on the sell side, the asks, and then they repopulate. So here might be where I would scratch. And then buyers eat it all. I have to see that again. Okay, so 3 ticks of orders are pulled. Somebody flashes size at 39.75. They throw a handful of orders in, and then I see that the order is real. Presumably, it looks because somebody bought 190. A good chunk of the order was real. When I saw that it was real, I got out because it wasn't a spoof, and the market reached its target, which was liquidity. That was a good one. I like that one. That might be the best trade of the day. 11:58. These are all just big orders, apparently. But 100. Short from what? The one oh, the 100 on the ask. I don't I guess I don't know how to play that. I probably just threw in a trade because it was a big order, and the price jumped after we filled it. And it looks like I flipped as the market slows down at the high of day, which is no, I flipped long. Oh, so just on the wrong side. It's a